Wow, it's me. Um, I was considering what I wanted to do with my day today, and I wasn't quite sure. And I thought about it for a little bit, and I thought I'd like to play Power Washer Simulator. But the problem with Power Washer Simulator is that it's a game. It's a problem that only I have, actually. I'm the only person on Earth who has this problem. And the problem is that it doesn't have any music. And my brain doesn't work if there's not music playing. It just doesn't function, is the problem there. So I need to have music playing in order for my brain to function. So I figured while we're at it, we can also add some fun, add some flair, add some interesting flavor to the stream. And we can just listen to some lo-fi, non-DMCA music. I have opened Spotify, and I have quite literally just looked up, non-DMCA music, music that is not going to get copyrighted by Twitch, music that is on an open source license. And we're just gonna listen to that and play Power Washer Simulator today, I think. Mostly because I'm gonna admit this is sort of the streamer's equivalent of me wheeling out the little wheelie TV and putting on a movie because I'm not really sure what else to do, if I'm being honest. So this is going to be Streamwaves Records LLC long stream playlist, stream safe music, Streamwaves official. No DMCA takedowns, no copyright strikes, royalty free. We own this music and we make it free to use for content creators. So that's going to be the playlist we're working for today. There's a 6-hour playlist. So we're going to go until I get physically sick. Alright. I'm immediately going to cut that down just a little bit because I have a feeling it's going to be consistently overpowering my voice otherwise. Alright, immediately just that clap alone has really put me in the mind of some of the most generic pop music that I think I've ever listened to. It's actually kind of shocking how that repeated clap just immediately makes me think of quite bad pop music, if I'm being honest. Alright. So, Power Washer Simulator is a game about what it says. Much like the last two games I played, Flower and Journey, Power Wash Simulator is a game about simulating power washing for a living. And right off the bat, I'm gonna say this playlist, very hype. Immediately coming with a strong hype note in this first song. Let me see if I can't find is there something a little tonally less hype? Oh, they have an actual lo-fi playlist. Alright, let's get that on instead, because this is amp up music, and I don't know if it fits the vibe I'm going for. So this is also by the exact same people, Streamwaves Records LLC, and thanks for all the open source music, folks. There we go. Oh, now we're just like one of them just chatting streams, y'all. Ooh. Now that's... I don't know how to feel about that, actually. Alright. Great news! Finally found a van for you at the auctions under your budget. Don't freak out when you see it. It looks like it's been just dredged from the bottom of a lake, but that's a good thing. It means no one else bid on it. They missed out. Underneath that hideous layer of gunk is your perfect warhorse. Warhorse? Why did I make that slip? It says workhorse. I knew it said horse war. Guess they just call violence to mine. Workhorse. Engine's a dream. No rust, there's even equipment in the back. Just needs a good hosing down and you're in business. You'll certainly earn your pressure washing stripes getting this thing clean. You know, that's kind of an escapist fantasy of mine in some ways. You know, I do have to run a sub-processor where I simulate capitalism in the very back of my mind, in order to function. I don't know why they built me this way, but they did. And, you know, one of the things that's always kind of distressed me about it is how being a pressure washer seems like a pretty okay job. Like, the pressure washer does all the work, and it's not like you're paying for the water when people ask you to do the work. So where's the catch that makes it undoable? Because there's gotta be something awful about being a pressure washer that makes it so that not everyone does this as a job, right? Anyway, left click to use the pressure washer. Rotating the nozzle is important because you can get different angles on the different jobs using nozzle rotation. And immediately, that water volume is way too fucking high. Yes, this game has a water volume slider. You can also switch nozzles. You have a multitude of nozzles. Now, as a general rule, the wider the angle a nozzle has, the lower the pressure it has. Well, okay. So this is actually a misconception about water that a lot of people have. Changing the aperture that the water goes through doesn't necessarily change the pressure of the overall system, because water is technically incompressible. So trying to force it through a smaller space faster won't actually cause any more pressure, because I think you would technically need to compress the water in order to cause a buildup of pressure. What actually happens is that it increases the flow speed, so the water goes faster, and that's why you're able to make things like hydro cutters where the water goes so fast it cuts aluminum. Now, don't quote me on that, because even if you studied it, fluid dynamics sucks. Like, I knew fluid dynamics people back in the day. They were all insane. I can see the tutorial on the side of the screen, and I'm going to be honest, I've already played quite a bit of this game, so... yeah, dirt-seeking vision. This is actually a relatively recent addition that I think makes the game a lot better. It is an aiming mode. If you press C, it will unlock the power washer from the camera. So we can just stand still and slowly just... yeah. That's nice, isn't it? Now we also have a tablet. Now I don't know how the tablet knows that the car is dirty. I guess we catalog the dirtiness of the car before we begin. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what else I want to do, Darth. It's either chill in the morning playing Power Washer Simulator, or I'm gonna have to keep playing Borderlands. And to be perfectly honest, I don't want to play any more Borderlands. I forgot that Borderlands was like hanging out with that one kid in high school. Which is odd, because I keep seeing advertisements for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands everywhere, and I keep getting suckered by the advertisements, and I keep thinking, ooh, but what if this one is actually good? What if you actually like this one? But the problem is I don't tend to enjoy Borderlands because Gub can't run the Borderlands games. Her processor just doesn't support that kind of grossness. And all my friends who play Borderlands don't have the money to play the new, like, Borderlands D&D ripoff, you know? I wonder if there's someone on the dev team for this game named Sophia. Because that would be the most obvious reference that license plate is making, right? Every license plate in video games is making a reference that you just don't happen to get. You know, it's been a while since I've really taken it slow with this game, because when I play this game on my own, you know, the new patch comes out, and it's a little bit like, just by being there, the dirt in the patch is insulting me. So I actually, whenever a new level comes out, I just have to immediately obliterate all of the dirt in the new level, or I can sleep again. So I played through those levels really quickly. I forgot how good the sort of inverse kinematics on the water stream are. Where if you're aiming your power washer at an extreme angle, there's a spray of water that ricochets off of whatever you're hitting. And yeah, it actually changes dynamically with how wide your nozzle is, too. You know, I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who would seek to disparage this game on the grounds that, yes, it is a power washer simulator. But there's also a level of care actually put into how the power washing feels that I think makes the game good. Like, if you care about the game you're making and genuinely put in the time and effort, I think you can eventually make a passable game at least, right? Like, they keep making Call of Duty every year, even though we keep asking them to please, for the love of God, stop. And the Call of Duty games, for as mid as they are only mid, you know? This is the kind of music playing right now that you would hear at like 3 a.m. shaking the windows of your house. Also, we had a text message. Sorry, let me read that. There's a removals van outside my nightmare neighbor's place. They're finally going. Whoever moves in there is gonna need a quality pressure washer. How do you know? How gross are your neighbors that they need a pressure washer when people are moving into that house? Higher is spelled with a Y, which means we're in one of the English uninhabitable zones, I think. Why did this van that was, from the looks of it, actually literally dredged from the bottom of the lake, pre-sprayed with the logo of a power washing? I know there are licensing laws as well, but how hard is it to actually become a professional power washer? Like, if I have the couple $100 to pay for, like, professional licensing, and, like, I figure out if insurance is required for power washing in my given state or polity, you know? Like, I wonder, is it literally just showing up at people's houses and being like, "Oi, house looks dirty. Want us to spray it down with our big fuck-off hose?" Because I know you're not supposed to power wash roofs. That is something that I actually learned a very, very long time ago. You're not supposed to power wash roofs just because, like, that can get you in trouble because it will apparently... I'm not... You know, I'm a space dog. I don't know much about roofing. But apparently there's a part of the roof that will be damaged if you hit it with a power washer, and it's one of those parts that'll be damaged in such a way that you need a professional to fix it. Gonna go with that business neighbor needed me to think some up. I'm phenomenal. I thought up Grouting Thomas for that Tyler, and she's never looked back. On reflection, Bonnie Tyler might have been a better fit. Routing Thomas? Is that like a British joke that I'm not getting? I don't have my English to human lexicon installed right now, so I couldn't tell you. Alright, there's that logo. A handsome vehicle. Wow, that felt a lot more forgiving than it maybe should have been for that body part. Alright. This window. Yeah, hey Flex. You know, it's Sunday, it's July 3rd. I have a lot of anxiety because there's probably going to be a lot of really loud noises all night tonight, like there were a lot of really loud noises the other night. I don't know if y'all know this, but the 4th of July is enormous in space because it's not actually an independence holiday, like they're not celebrating America. It's actually an unrelated holiday celebrating the invention of explosives. So like Gub is going to be in the weapons lab all night, literally just blowing up fruit. So, you know, I gotta chill out while we're here. Also, the addition of the aiming mode allows me to actually see the specifications on this pressure washer. This is a 5,000 PSI, 3,000 bar pressure washer, up to 300 Fahrenheit, that's not bad. So you could actually... I'm gonna look up how much this pressure washer would cost, actually. Just while we're here, we're having a nice casual stream. How much does a 5,000 PSI pressure washer cost? That is gonna be, I think, the low end, probably. Yeah, 5,000 PSI. Looking at it. Who are we gonna trust for our let's go with Home Depot. Home Depot, I would say, is the most normal of places that you could buy a pressure washer, right? Like, if I'm in America, because again, I was simulated in America, and I think, wow, I need a pressure washer. I'm gonna go to Home Depot, right? Also, I'll be honest, Flex, the only reason that I'm here right now playing Pressure Washer Simulator instead of playing Sunbreak is because if I play too much Sunbreak, I'll get ahead of Gub and we won't be able to play together and I'll be real sad. Okay, so according to the Home Depot website, what we have here is actually a commercial grade pressure washer because it is a maximum 5,000 PSI. I don't know if we're running it at that to blast a van, but that is going to be commercial grade apparently. Also, yeah, I would say Sunbreak so far has been worth the money. They've added a bunch of quests with like AI followers, which are really interesting. They're single player only quests, but they have AI followers that all have different behaviors and weapons and stuff. And they have, instead of doing that really annoying thing where they just recolored monsters in order to make like the Apex versions, they're going back to doing aberrations. So like the first one that you fight is the blood orange, what's it called? Fuck. It's the blood orange Bishaten. Yeah, and the blood orange Bishaten is a big mean Bishaten that instead of throwing fruit, throws explosive pine cones. and breathes fire and shit. He's real scary. But looking at it, it looks like a 5,000 PSI pressure washer is probably going to run you around $1,000. The sort of cheaper end ones here are like DeWalt ones, gas powered. Yeah, so it's looking like this pressure washer we have right now. If this was in the back of the truck when we bought it, this is a $1,300 pressure washer that we just got with our car. Like, just for nothing. And now that that little diversion's out of the way. Is this the extraordinary Dr. Power Wash? I got your details from your friend Harper. I could really do it with hand at my place when you're free. Oh. I guess Harper has decided on our business name for us. Favorite part of this game, you get a little replay after every level. Look at that. Also, I gotta say, I'm a fan of this particular track off this playlist. Nice sort of understated melody line. Yeah, you know, I appreciate that last song that was just playing. I think a defining characteristic of lo-fi, for me at least, is lo-fi definitely... Wow, we got this pressure washer for a steal if this was only $250. But lo-fi for me, like, if your melody line is too intensive, like, it gets a little hard to listen to. Like, you know, lo-fi should be chill to listen to. Because, like, the whole philosophy of the genre is chill, right? I don't know, it just seems wrong to me to have a really intense, like, front melody for lo-fi. Lo-fi anything. Lo-fi hip-hop. Lo-fi... I don't know, do they make lo-fi rock? Right. Well, while we're here, there's a bunch of parts that we can buy for our power washer. One is going to be an extension, which literally extends the hose so it is closer to the surface. Because the faster the water is going when it hits the thing, the better it cleans. This is a true fact. And the other is a turbo nozzle. And the turbo nozzle is basically the smallest nozzle for our power washer, but it flails around constantly, so it technically covers a slightly larger area. I don't know how I feel about it, because I don't trust chaos to wash my things for me. I'm sure in real life it's probably a little bit more effective, because this game doesn't quite model the sort of flow of water. Like, there's no... I'm not sure how to explain it. Like, the ambient water that comes from the water that is there once it has stopped being sprayed from the pressure washer, you know? It runs down the surface and then carries some of the surface grime with it. Hey, Doc. I hope you like a challenge, because I'm pretty sure I've got the dirtiest backyard you've ever seen. It's not me bragging, by the way. I had nothing to do with it. I just moved back to town for a bit to help my folks who are both down to their last knee, and rented what I thought was a great little place. Could have questioned why there weren't any garden pics in the ad. They must have bred rhinos here or something. Anyway, my girls are itching to get back out there, and I don't want them still itching when they get back inside, so please do your thing. Thanks a lot, Cal. I wonder how long Cal plans on being here that he's willing to pay $450 to have the entire back garden power washed. But also, imagine making $450 for what is essentially one afternoon's worth of work, right? Like, that's why I unironically have been considering, like, the logistics of becoming a pressure washer, because it seems like a better scam than being a Twitch streamer, that's for sure. Funnily enough, my first gay girlfriend, Florraine Perez, used to live here back in the day. Those were good times. First, we need to clean off the doghouse. Because if this job goes for too long, I'm gonna need somewhere to sleep. I think the biggest problem with becoming a pressure washer is the fact that you probably need to network and like talk to people and sell them on the fact that they should pay you $500 to wash their backyard. I guess referring to an independent job as a good scam is probably a really, really bad way to get people to pay you to do that, right? I guess that's why they probably call them jobs and not scams most of the time. Did you see that cat? There's a cat there, right? Huh. Guess that cat's gone now. Anyway, one of the things that I like to do in this game quite a lot is I will climb up to a tall place and I will go into this aiming mode and then I will just see how much I can clean without moving my camera left and right. Because there's a maximum effective range of the power washer that is dictated by whatever extension you have on. And by changing the pressure on the power washer, you can actually hit things that are pretty far away. And it does some interesting things with forced perspective. When you clean up all of the dirt that you can see on an object, and then immediately change the angle, and you can see like you were missing 60% of the grime on the thing. I think it's a very enjoyable visual. Gotta find your fun where you can. I say that as if this game isn't actually very satisfying to play. If you've ever watched gameplay footage of this game and thought, wow, this game looks like it'd be pretty fun to play, you're right, because it is more fun to play than I would say it is to watch, even if you find it very relaxing to watch and listen to. Sorry, do we have an active volcano? Y'all see that, right? There. We have an active volcano in this neighborhood? Anyway, here's the turbo nozzle. It uses the power of chaos to clean things better for us. I forgot that this is a light-duty power washer, so I actually can't really hit things from too far away, because the default pressure on it's actually kind of bad. I guess we'll have to do this job the sort of old-fashioned way for a little bit, and actually just clean some surfaces. Okay, so what's up with putting metal stars on sheds? I feel like I see this a lot. You see, like, the bronze bunt pan of a star that for no adequately explained reason is just on a shed. A lot of the times it will be on a shed with a horseshoe, which leads me to believe it's some kind of southern folksy charm thing. But why are people hanging their copper bunt pans on the side of their sheds all the time? What's up with that? You know, Gub keeps saying I need to get more cultural lexicons installed, and I'm starting to think that she's right, but they're so expensive. And they take up like 100 gigabytes of my internal storage per culture. Now that... I don't know if this game is actually made in Unity, but now that is some Unity glass. I love non-functional video game glass textures. Because the non-functionality of mirrors and stuff in video games really is just the most honest compromise with reality that I can think of. Because making mirrors and transparent objects and stuff like that in video games is just hard. Like, there's a reason why a lot of games don't have that detailed of glass physics or, like, things dealing with transparent objects or mirrors. And it's because they're really just bad at doing it. Computers are bad at water. It's why I am very notable as an experimental computer. Because I'm a computer that's 99% water. The other 2% is love. And we... Alright, now that is a lo-fi staple if I ever heard one. The heavy guitar coming in, just going... Ooh. Now that is a lo-fi hook. Yep. Flex, you are entirely right. Good art style in a game will always be more timeless than hyperrealism, because the definition of hyperrealism is always updating. But an art style with strong direction lasts forever. I was actually watching some people play Fear recently, First Encounter Assault Recon. You know, one of the greatest horror shooters of all time. And that game is like 15, 20 years old now. Like, it's an old game at this point. I don't know if it's 20 years. It might be more close to 15. I think it came out in the early thousands. But that game, despite going for a relatively realistic look, I think holds up really, really well and still feels good to play. And wow, they're really forgiving with that. But it still feels good and looks good to play, specifically because I think they had a really strong art style and they stuck with it. And it probably helps that, like, all of the guns in that game are some of the best guns ever put to code in video games. Like, the Fear shotgun, I still think is one of the best shotguns I have ever used in any video game. And, you know, since we're here, since we're not playing Fear, we are playing Power Washer Simulator. Let's take a moment to think about Power Washer Simulator's game feel. I think this game actually does a really good job of game feel, and like that's why this game manages to, I think, very much be worth the money, despite having kind of a boring concept, or at least a concept that doesn't necessarily lend itself to immediately the most flashy and exciting of ideas. If you would ask the normal person what they think about what Power Washer Simulator would be like. But just because the Power Washer has good sounds and good feedback and cleans dirt in a way that is very satisfying, and they put in a lot of care into making models that are very fun to clean, like with the slats on this garden swing, I think this game ends up being really good. Like, just the inclusion of the little turbo nozzle. Like, this is a real thing that exists in order to make certain power washers have slightly more, like, functional spread on them. And just by including that, I think it makes the game, like, you know, you have all these different options, and at the end of the day, for the most part, I do all my power washing on yellow. Because that's just the way that I am. You know, the fact that I have a preference for nozzle type in this power washer game says a lot, I think. Flex has asked me to talk about the Fear shotgun. The Fear shotgun is, I think, one of the best SPAS 12s that I've ever seen in a game. It is based on the SPAS 12 auto shotgun, but it is a shotgun that really understands that if you shoot a man with a shotgun at point-blank range, that man will stop being there. Like, a lot of games, I feel, don't really understand the actual, true destructive power of a shotgun at point-blank range. Where, you know, if you fire that into a person, they're probably not going to be able to identify the little chunklets that are left of them afterwards. But fear 100%, like, turns the person's torso into a cloud of blood and throws what's left of their legs across the room. And it has just this horrible, just like crunchy metal sound that's weighty and just like violent in the best possible way for like a shotgun racking and firing. Like, I say horrible in the way that, like, when I use a weapon in a video game, I kind of want it to be a little bit scary, because I want to be scaring my enemies, you know? It might sound a little bit silly, but if I'm gonna be cast as like the badass point man action marine who has super special secret psychic powers that give him fucking bullet time, I want to have a weapon that feels like I have the finger of God, you know? I want a disgusting revolver that shoots like 4.54 Kasul and sounds like someone's open mouth chewing Doritos when I reload it. Yeah, like Fear, I would say Fear is more of a thriller than a horror game, because while it does have jump scares and sections that are dark and have scares in them, I would not necessarily call it a horror game, because most of the actual functional gameplay is, like, just disgustingly incredible gunplay. And I believe Fear was worked on by a lot of guys from Monolith, and Monolith also worked on, before Fear, they worked on Blood, and Blood is like considered one of the best build games of all time. Also, just because it has an incredible shotgun, and just really good game feel all around in a completely different way. Where it is a sort of build game like Duke Nukem 3D, where you sort of bounce around like you're in a fucking John Woo movie. You do bikes? I could do someone running their thing over my deadbeat dirt bike. The arena and I would climb up and down that rock garden all day, pretending we were on rumbling Mount Rushless and the pond was the crater. So that is an active volcano. I have no idea how he explained the fish being there, though. I mean, there are volcanic fish. There's the Olm. The Olm lives under waterfalls. They just hold on to the wall. So you can find a weird fish or salamander basically anywhere. I never got to play the co-op in Fear. Kind of a sad running thread of my life for a very long time has been the scientists who kept me didn't really want to play video games with me. They just wanted me to produce more electricity. So if I wanted to get them to play video games with me, I would have to stop making electricity and then let them beat me up until they realized that beating me up wasn't going to get me to make any more electricity. And so sort of the end product of that is that I've always wanted to have a group of friends where I can go on Discord and drop a big at everyone and be like, hey, who wants to play some Fear co-op with me? And get an immediate, like, answer and have co-op players. But I've never really been in that place. I have to schedule when I hang out with people, you know? They're busy. What? Hang on, I gotta pause to, oh yeah, no, zooming in on chat, oh yeah, I've been called cool. Wow, that's incredible. After a long sip of Mountain Dew Major Melon, I've decided that you're pretty cool too, my friend. But, I never got to play the co-op in Fear. I didn't actually know that any of the Fears had co-op except for Fear 3. Fear 3's co-op always seemed like it could be really cool just because you had that whole thing where one of you was playing the cacklingly evil weirdo from Fear 1 because you're playing Paxton Patel. But I think that would require you being player 2. And again, I would need to have friends in order to actually play the Paxton campaign of Fear, or Fear 3, which is the only part of Fear 3 that I'm actually interested in for the most part. And so I never bought it because I could just never justify the expense of buying Fear 3 for a co-op campaign that I was probably never going to get to play. Also, is it a good thing or a bad thing that the local residents are so aware of the local volcano being active that they fondly refer to it as Ol Rumbly, the Ol Rumbly Mountain? Ol Rumbly Pompeii. We love our Pompeii. It's a beautiful natural landmark that nothing ever goes wrong at. But yeah, Fear 3 co-op seemed really good, if only just for like the sort of franticness that it managed to pull off and the kind of gameplay it had, where like, because as Paxton, one of your characters was kind of constantly low-key dying because you had like that possession limit, you had to sort of constantly be fighting forward through the fighting segments. Like a lot of first-person shooter games, I think they can devolve into like hallway full of story, arena, hallway full of story, arena, hallway full of story, arena. But I think all of the Fear games, because I did play Fear 2, which I have been told is not as good as the original Fear. And I haven't played the original Fear recently enough to say whether or not that is a true comparison. Or a true statement. But they have you sort of fighting forward in a way where the arenas feel less like arenas you're being shuttled into by the scares, and a little more like you're encountering units of enemy soldiers as you're fighting your way through a war zone, you know? Because Fear 3 literally has you as Point Man and Paxton fighting through like an active ghost apocalypse, even more so than in Fear 1, where you are Point Man fighting through an active war zone. Also, I gotta say, there is a very effective horror in Fear in that it doesn't seem to be possible to kill any of the psychics in Fear. Like, spoiler alert for Fear, but in Fear 1, you put a fucking bullet in Paxton, and by 3, he comes back as a psychic ghost that shows no signs of getting any weaker and can actively possess people into shooting themselves. So what I want to know is, like, because they tried to nuke Alma in one of the DLCs of 2, I'm pretty sure. What are we gonna do about Alma Wade? Like, doesn't she cause the apocalypse in 3? Because, like, she's so psychic that her kid is unkillable. Like, what a raw deal if you're one of the people who worked really, 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 really hard in Fear 1 and sacrificed a bunch of lives and effort to kill Paxton, right? Because by the time of 3, it's just like, hoo, I'm haunting my brother. It's good to know that I guess I'll have to find someone to play Fear 3 with if I ever want to experience it. Damn. I guess I'll have to buy one of my contractors a copy of Fear 3 and then tie them to a chair until they play Fear 3 with me. Gub subprocessors can't run games like that. So it's gonna have to be one of the contractors we use for work on the ship. They usually have gaming PCs. See, the problem is it a game that was recent enough to have cross-play? Because I would have to play it on the PC. I don't own any consoles. And the only reason I'm not streaming Sunbreak is because I cannot capture from a Nintendo Switch. I don't have the right ports or a television. I will also say this is a part of the game where I am kind of glad they ease up a little bit on the water physics simulation, because in real life I'm pretty sure we'd have to drain this pool afterwards from all of this power washing we're doing. Because pools in gardens like this, I'm not an expert, but I don't think they usually have drains in them. Specifically because that would defeat the point of a pool, right? You want a pool to hold water. Or like if it does have a drain, like washing all of this gunk directly into the drain is probably going to be really bad for the pool. No? I keep saying the word pool, and it's just making me realize, like, I'm saying it really weirdly today. I don't usually say it so long. I feel like I have definitely heard this song on every lo-fi channel that exists before. I wonder if it's a symptom of streamer music that there's none of the sort of stuff that I enjoy from lo-fi hip-hop streams, where like you have samples of like a cartoon show. You know, you have like Jake from Adventure Time just going like, "Hey man, gotta kill," before they get to the hook or whatever. Ah! Alright, thank you for coming out, Flex. The second that you said you had to leave, an ambulance siren started up somewhere on the ship. So whatever you're doing, stop it. Killing contractors again, I'm gonna be really mad. Like, it's funny to watch them go flying out the airlock, but they cost money. Yeah, like I was saying, I don't think the lo-fi on a lot of these sort of public domain lo-fi lists, they don't have any part where, like, an Adventure Time character goes like, "I smoke weed and get sad a lot." That's like a staple of lo-fi, right? It's one of those things that sort of later turned into kawaii wave. Or, I don't know what the proper genre term is, but you have, like, that one specific genre of music where they play clips of fucking, like, the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure dub underneath really shitty synths. Jupiter's 30 light years away. You're never going to get it with gravity deviation. See you later. Hey, Doc, bumped into the park warden. He definitely needs your help. So this is just the kind of small town where everyone knows everyone. Like, the only reason I'm actually getting work is because I started a power wash business, and, like, my cousin Jerry, who owns the local library, talked to my cousin Harper, who was like, hey, yeah, you should hire my second cousin twice removed, Phyllis, in order to power wash your library. She'll do a great job. Try a little bit of a wider nozzle. Yeah, see? This trellis will support a wider nozzle, I think. Now watch, I'm gonna have to go right back over it all in a second because I barely got any of the actual grime. Actually, do it from this angle so we get all the stuff sort of trapped down between the slats, and that actually worked better than I expected. Maybe I shouldn't discount this white nozzle so much. Because, like, I usually discount this white nozzle pretty badly just because, like, it doesn't clean anything without, like, 4 or 5 passes. But on the lighter grime, it's, not the worst thing in the world. And I know I'm literally sitting here critiquing power washer nozzles in a video game now, but I mean, what else do you have to do with your Sunday morning, you know? And in fact, we're at about an hour in, so it's time for what the engagement officials call a call to action. If you're not subscribed, consider following. Because you won't be able to subscribe until I have a shitload of followers. Once I have enough followers, then you'll be able to subscribe, and that'll give me money. And I'd like money. What? What do you mean I'd be more sincere? What do you mean telling your audience you're just in it for the money? What do you mean? No. Oh shit, really? I'm not muted? Oh. Sorry everyone, I was just having a chat with my agent really quickly. Anyway, yeah, I prefer the yellow nozzle for the most part for, like, everything. Because the red nozzle, like, imagine trying to clean this entire patio with just the red nozzle, you know? It's like trying to, like, cross-hatch a piece of art with a mechanical pencil. Sure, you could take the time to do that. Some people do take the time to do that. I'm not patient enough to do that. Even though I do think, like, cross-hatched pencil is a profoundly powerful art style. I love cross-hatched pencil. Alright. I am immediately noticing that this song is a little bit... like, there's a little bit of a layering to the sound on this one. Like, the instrument that suggests to me maybe they actually put in a little bit of effort to make some custom synths for this song. Which, compared to everything else so far, which has just kind of been bleeding together, is, pretty nice. Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying their use of, like, filter sweeps on this one. I might actually add this one to my Spotify library. You know what? Yeah, first lo-fi hip-hop song of the stream that's unironically going in my musical archives. I'm sure in 1 or 2 weeks I'll be listening to this and we'll we'll be 2 minutes into it, and I'll be in one of those states where I'm paying too much attention to my music, and I'll wonder what kind of idiot would put a song this repetitive with no lyrics on my playlist. And then I'll have to confront the fact that it was me. I was the idiot. I'm always the idiot when it comes to bad playlist decisions. A lot of lichen in your pond. You should probably treat it with antifungicidals or something if you don't want this stuff coming back. Wait, antifungicidals? No, that's just gonna make fungus grow. You're gonna want fungicidals or antifungals, one of the two. Antifungicidals are actually only going to make everything worse. Alright, consider me surprised that this piece of the playlist has a melody line. I thought it was just gonna be the underlying strumming, no melody line. I think I'm missing some lichen. Yeah. That'll do it. Gotta get under all these pesky rocks just like a real professional. I don't want to spam the find dirt function too much because I will say, the first time I ever played this game, I spammed that function constantly. And I think it kind of ruined the vibe of the game for me. Having everything constantly show up in bright orange, basically telling you in the most concise terms possible what you need to be doing. I think it probably ruined a lot of the game for me, playing that impatiently. Call me crazy, but I think Power Washer Simulator is probably meant to be a meditative experience more than anything, given the fact that the main gameplay loop is cleaning. It's all like individual rocks down here that I haven't got. Maybe up here. No, I just said that I wasn't going to be using the find dirt function a lot, and then I started using it like way more than I had all stream. But in my defense, these rocks are really annoying. Like, actually cleaning off the on-wall object is very annoying. Missing that. I'm just gonna keep hosing off every angle of this pond until I get that ding. Give me the ding noise. That's not the ding noise I'm looking for. That's the brick ding noise. I need the stones ding noise. Oh, I see. Come on. Do it. Make the noise. You know you want to. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, glad you paid me $30 for that. It was definitely a fucking $30 worth of effort job. Goodness. Power washing brick for a long period of time is probably one of those things that a professional would tell you you're not supposed to do, because it'll like blast pieces off of the brick or saturate it with water or something like that. Like, there's so many rules about buildings. Is this the Dirt Finder General? Got your details from a certain Harper Shaw. There's an alleged dirt problem at the local playground. Alright, Harper is still brand building for us. Saw my dream RV at the auctions, all creamy like a toffee pie on wheels. Okay. Can you stop telling me, people, that I'm the Dirt Finder General? I wouldn't know whether to drive it or lick it. Probably drive it. It's an RV. Again, could you please stop telling people I'm the Dirt Finder General? Unfortunately, it sold for a crazy amount, but the theme was on. Harper, are you like my friend? Or are you a guy that I paid to buy me a van at auction and you're just still texting me? Because one of those is definitely unacceptable within the parameters of our relationship. Nice, smooth back and forth motion. All the way down the wall. There we go. Now that's some fence washing, baby. I also like how they've added footprints. I don't know if there were originally footprints in this game. I don't think there were, because I think they only added visible player models when they did the co-op update. Because believe it or not, this game has up to 4-player co-op. I have a feeling some of these jobs would probably go enormously fast with 4 people on the job. As long as everyone wasn't fucking around, which is an awful big granted, considering that you'd be a bunch of friends whose idea of fun is playing co-op Power Washer Simulator, playing co-op Power Washer Simulator. And I'm not an expert, but I think that might be a goon party, but in a positive way, you know? Oh, now this is deep library lo-fi. Yeah, I've heard this on literally every lo-fi stream out there. This is that violin pluck, that is on every lo-fi live stream in the world at some point or another. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it's on every lo-fi live stream ever, but that little yeah, that just played right now. Every stream, every single one. I don't know what their problem is. Right? How's that? It's a clean fence. kind of dog they have. This is a pretty small dog house. It looks like it's got one of those, like, lockable flaps. Like, I don't know if that is meant to be just, like, a generic, like, flap that they put in place to cover up the inside so they didn't have to, give us the rather arduous task of hosing out the inside of the house. But that doghouse definitely might be one of the ones where if you don't have a special RFID collar, it won't open. Which is a level of security that I don't know how I feel about for a dog. Like, why does your dog need that securing? Are you afraid that the Eagles are going to send a hitman to assassinate them? I'm pretty sure if the Eagles are going to get your dog, they're going to get your dog outside. Traditionally, that is where large dog-attacking birds are. This track is apparently called Thoreau, and I can't say I see exactly how this has anything to do with Sir Henry David Thoreau. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna Google Thoreau. Maybe we can find a quick link. All right, opening the page for Thoreau. Naturalist, essayist, poet, and philosopher. A leading transcendentalist. And an enjoyer of lo-fi drum and bass. Weird. All right. More you know. And according to this, Henry Kissinger was into ska. Wouldn't have said that for the man. They make lo-fi ska? I'm almost worried what will happen if I do in fact look into the existence of lo-fi ska. Sorry, this has just become Google things with Void Puppy time. No, doesn't look like lo-fi ska is a thing that the internet at large is aware of yet. So, if you want to be famous, invent lo-fi ska and inflict it on the people around you. You could be the first. Now this track, I understand why it's called Hummingbird, because there's a sort of a humming saxophone and a sort of tweetiness to the melody that be evocative of a hummingbird. I still don't necessarily understand why that last track was called Thoreau, even if the man did enjoy lo-fi EDM. Dirt on the underside of a parasol like this badly. Like, did you have a bowl full of dirt and you just pointed a leaf blower down into it? I simply must know. Now this is not OSHA-approved behavior. I don't believe you're supposed to jump on top of chairs in order to stand on top of umbrellas to reach higher places. However, as an independent contractor, the only one to get in trouble would be me, and I'm insured. Now, I don't know if they can take your insurance away for being a dumbass. So I'm gonna be a dumbass and hope they won't. I'm not gonna check. Yes, Calvin, I am almost done. I need to stop giving these people my personal number. I don't like that a lot of these freaks are able to text me when I'm not on the job. Harper Shaw keeps texting me, asking me if I want to be known as something cooler than Dirt Finder General, and then when I tell them I'd like them to stop texting me, it's like they didn't even hear me because they just text me, psych, there's nothing cooler than the Dirt Finder General, and you should be honored. I don't know what their problem. Is Westmoreland a real place? Because this song is called Westmoreland, and I can only assume that it's meant to simulate the experience of being there. Whenever a song is named after a place, I assume that song is meant to be about the experience of being there. According to this, it's a pretty funky time in Westmoreland. The game individually, like for the purpose of sending those texts, I wonder if the game keeps track of how much grime I've actually cleaned, or if it's just a timer based off of when I have cleaned a certain percentage of the object. Because it feels like it would be a lot of extra work to have the game constantly track and react to how many pixels of dirt were left in a level. But they also have to keep track of that anyway on some level in order to have them be there when you load the game, you know? I assume they're probably using some sort of like texture mesh where the texture of dirt just gets turned off as you sort of sweep the power washer over it, and it's always technically there, it just doesn't render once you've cleaned it, but I wouldn't actually know. I'm just speculating that because that's how they made the persistent blood in Killing Floor 2 work. That was sort of a similar situation of a persistent substance staining a surface in a dynamic way. Which, when I say it that way, makes it sound even weirder than if I just talked about, like, buckets of blood in the streets of Paris. Which is what the game Killing Floor 2 is objectively about. Alright, so this song is Star Drive. I'm going to interpret that to mean this song is about me. So we're just gonna listen closely and quietly to the song that supposedly represents me. Enjoying the long sustained notes that are sort of like radar pings almost. The da, da. I think that, yeah, that really sort of helps with the future vibe that I think they're going for. Alright, the part where we cut out the melody for variation. Get anything good out of cutting out the melody. Nope. We just bring it back in a little bit later. Okay. You know, I hate to gift a horse in the mouth, but a lot of these songs, it feels like they're just kind of missing something. Like there's, for a lot of music, there's sort of a point, you know, there's a point that you get to where it's like, yeah, we've made the song exists, you know, it's got good melody, it's got a hook, it's got all the things that a song should have. And then from there, that's the point that you continue on from, and like the truly great like composers and musicians and singer-songwriters will take that acceptable 4-bar chord progression and they turn it into, you know, one of the greatest pop songs of all time, or one of the greatest hip-hop songs of all time. And for a lot of lo-fi hip-hop, especially of the non-DMCA variety, and perhaps this is just because it's very difficult to make pay as an artist with non-DMCA music. Maybe it's just I'm reading too much into patterns that aren't there. But that oomph isn't really there ever. Like the song gets to the point where you can be like, yeah, this is an alright song, and it never really surpasses that point. You know, it's that same sort of phenomenon where like you never have the clips of like anime characters saying faux edgy shit or faux deep shit because they don't want to be sued. This track is called Faulkner, and at this point, honestly, I'm giving up actually thinking into like what these different title names actually mean. I'm going to say from now on, any track that is named after a person, it's literally just the cultivators of this playlist thinking that that particular person or historic figure would enjoy that song. Here we go, everyone. Faulkner's lo-fi song of choice. Control panel. I think that's over. Here comes the part of the game where we just kind of have to hunt disparate little bits of rust. Because we missed a couple things here and there, and we haven't cleaned enough stuff to give us the final checklist just yet. There's, it's the retaining wall cap. What a specific thing to have be dirty. I think that's actually something that the developers of this game have gone over on their Twitter, is that part of the actual design aspect of this game is that they have to figure out a way to communicate what a thing is without necessarily knowing what the player will know what is, and they can't reuse the same name too many times. Because if you have a map that has a lot of steps, for instance, like this map has 7 or 8 steps in it, but it's fairly trivial for the player to go through each step and look at each one and be like, oh, this isn't the right step, oh, this isn't the right step. But if you're on a larger map, and some of these later maps do get quite large from what I remember of them, you can sort of run into this issue where, you know, you have 37 copies of the same steps, and the question then becomes, which step do I clean? Which step is actually still dirty? And then you have to scan over each one crosshair by crosshair in order to see. So they actually do have to, like, figure out names for things that don't necessarily already have extremely common lexical names. Like, what do you call the sticky outy bit on a plane's wing that goes up and down? Well, a lot of people would call them the flaps because, like, that's what they are. They're the flaps of the plane, you know? But you also, as a game dev, can't necessarily assume that people actually know what, say, the third row aerofoils of a plane are. So you might need to change the wording when you're talking about a specific flap of the plane, because that specific flap has a specific term that your players won't fucking know. Hydrated once more. Had to pause to take a delicious sip of today's gamer fluid, which is water. That's right. Some days my gamer fluid is simply water. Because some days all you need in order to game is to have a good clean power wash and some good clean fun. Water. This episode is not sponsored by water. But God, I wish it was. See, they compressed some of the objectives on that little to-do list. Like, we have Stepping Stones X6 because I think they're all the same technical object, and the game understands that. But the to-do list won't show up when you're at, like, 82% if you have, like, 4 or 5 uncleaned items. You can only have a certain number of uncleaned items before the to-do list just doesn't turn on. And I kind of wish you didn't have to go into the menu to manually highlight shit when you get to the end on jobs. Like, this is definitely something that will be more relevant later game when the levels start getting much, much bigger. But it can be kind of a pain sometimes. And the devs have already done a really, really good job of actually, you know, keeping up with quality of life, like adding this aiming mode for people who get motion sick. Here we go. The hanging planters. I didn't realize these were separate from the shed. Hey, Doc. Cal here. I've got a job for you over at my folks' bungalow when you can fit it in. Wow. You have a lot of business. All right. That's a clean backyard. Well, first let's head to the shop, because I think we can afford... I don't think we can afford a new power washer, but I think we can definitely afford some extensions. Now, I'm not actually going to buy the soap nozzle, because I don't like using the soap nozzle. Basically, the mechanic of the soap nozzle is that you buy the soap nozzle, and then there is soap that you can buy, and the soap, depending on the material you use it on, it's a very wide spraying nozzle that'll really quickly clean an area over time in exchange for using the soap. But because there's a finite number of jobs in this game, technically, and you only get paid a very small amount from redoing jobs in free play, there's technically a limited amount of soap in this game, especially with the fact that, like, there is literally a stock limit for soap that they had to add so that people couldn't buy too much and soft lock themselves. And coupled with the fact that I already have really bad problems with just, like, using potions and consumables in games when I'm supposed to, I'm just probably not going to be using any of these soap nozzles, to be perfectly honest. So, instead, I'm gonna buy some octopus gloves. bright pink hazmat suit. Well, I guess it would be a cleaner suit, not a hazmat suit, huh? And the new skin for our pressure washer. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Got a 60s laser gun and pressure washer. Got a pink hazmat suit. This career's coming along. Now, all I need to do is get myself some more water in real life, because I just realized now as I put my water down that I didn't have enough water to keep drinking, so I'll be right back. All right, everyone. I'm I'm leaving us on the AFK screen because I've found something. I found something in my hard drive that I'm not sure I have an explanation for. And uh when I tried to examine the file, uh it it basically booted my system to some ransomware, more or less. It was kind of a fuck up on my part. It was kind of idiotic of me, if I'm being perfectly honest. Um, and so this ransomware basically says I have to show you all um have to show you all trailer for Morbius, or they're gonna delete my computer. The whole computer's just it's not gonna work anymore. So um I'm sorry everyone, but here's the trailer. I don't know if this is just the trailer for Morbius or not, but um we're gonna watch it together, okay?
Have sex, accept. Put my hands in yours. Put my hands up and put my tongue in
I'll release Morbius a second time, and then I'll rule Mobius.
You knew
Morbius?
I am a
Morbius?
I should have died years ago.
Well, we're waiting.
people all over the world have my
Dunkachino.
Here. To
have sex.
we have to push the boundaries, take the risks.
You're gonna
Have sex.
Do it now.
Okay.
Oh, it's everywhere! Ah!
People are strange.
Dr. Michael.
I don't know.
Michael
Disease.
Morbius, you've been missing for 2 months.
When you're a stranger,
Then you were found washed up off of Morbius Island.
faces look ugly. When you're alone.
What did you do to Morbius?
How? I wish I knew. I went from dying to being.
Michael,
It worked. I have increased disease. Some form of disease. What else can I do?
something inside of me.
Wait a minute.
So I don't know what that was, but it looks like the ransomware's gone now. So I'm gonna with stream. There's gotta be something up with my dirt bike. You see, I'm one of life's winners. Every morning I put 4 slices of bread in the toaster, but I only eat the slice that pops up first. When I have a coffee, I only drink the bit that wins the race to my mouth. But on this bike, I always finish dead last. Wonder if there's mud stuck to the manifest or whatever it is, slowing me down. I'm also kind of superstitious, so I haven't cleaned the thing in over 15 years. Thanks. I think the problem with your bike is that it is full of gunk. And that gunk is going to make it not work. Machines hate gunk. In other news, we are now putting on Stream Safe Music Electronic Streamwaves official, free for Twitch and live streams. No DMCA takedowns, no copyright strikes, royalty free. We own this music and we make it free to use for content creators. Vibes up! By Streamwaves Records LLC. The same people. Wow. Alright. Immediately winning points for having a little bit more texture than the other lo-fi stuff. Alright. This is literally just a dirt bike. It probably can't take that long to clean, right? Yeah, but I think the problem with your dirt bike was that you hadn't cleaned it in 15 years. Call me sort of a counter-superstitious, but I think the actual problem was that you had not cleaned your bicycle in 15 years. I believe this is one of the challenge levels that they have for limited water mode, specifically because the only actual challenge of this level is getting every little last, like, scrape of dirt out of all of the parts in that engine case. Because there's a lot of really close-up intersecting geometry in places. Got the front fender. Only know it's called the front fender because of the game's text. That wasn't even a trailer for Morbius. That was like a bootleg trailer for Morbius 2. Like, when Morbius 2 came out, it was pretty wildly successful, but I don't understand, like, why they would bother to take the time to recut a trailer for Morbius 2 and then, like, make ransomware that forced me to play the trailer on stream. I don't even have that much reach. What part of the rear fender is unwashed? The top? Oh, I've been so thoroughly scouring the undercarriage of the dirt bike that I neglected the top of it. I should hope it doesn't take that long to pressure wash a goddamn motorcycle. Lean as an egg, you're a legend. Nothing can stop me now. I think your shitty attitude will probably stop you just from being happy in life. Like the whole racing slices of bread so that you only eat the winner thing, that is a deeply deranged thing to do, my guy. Hey, Doc. You know, I mentioned my folks. Well, I think it's time their bungalow met your pressure washer. It's so filthy it's hard to tell where the ground ends and the house begins. When I mentioned you to Ma, her eyes lit up. Pops moaned and said the browner the porch, the warmer the torch, which clearly means nothing, so he's overruled. If you can give the place a good cleanup, I'm sure it'd give them both a lift. Thanks again, Cal. All right. So again, $500 to clean someone's entire bungalow. And dear God, is this place fucking filthy. Any cats back here? No. There's a soccer ball, though. Can I push it all the... I sure can. Push it down the road? There it goes. All right. Well, we got rid of that soccer ball. Not sure what that did for us in the long run, but I saw the soccer ball and I just wanted to get rid of it, you know? I will say I'm immediately much more impressed by their non-lo-fi offerings. The lo-fi offerings of Chillwave are a little boring, but all of their non-hype, non-lo-fi music is just right in the Goldilocks sense. Calvin's such a good boy. He's a volcanologist, you know. Oh, really? Does he live here because we live by an active goddamn volcano? Sorry, I just need to waste some water for a bit. I'm fairly certain in real life, like those pressure washers, they do run on gasoline or electricity. So if you just randomly spray water into the air, you are wasting a limited amount of water that takes gasoline and electricity to sort of repressurize. Because essentially a pressure washer, to my understanding, is just filling a big tank with compressed air and then using that to blast water out. The ones that actually get the water up to the point where they're functional as pressure washers, you know, they're shooting it fast enough that it's damaging softer materials. Just obliterating that goddamn dirt. In fact, the fact that we don't use any products to soften up any of the stuff before we just blast it off with a pressure washer is probably a pretty good sign that we're actually, like, probably doing a decent bit of damage to the stuff that we're pressure washing. Because I don't think you're supposed to be able to, like, blast the lichen off of stuff as quickly as we are. Like pressure washing a shingle roof like this, I'm pretty sure, I'm not an expert, but I'm pretty sure I have notes somewhere on my hard drive that more or less say you're not supposed to pressure wash roofs to get them clean. And that's actually a really bad idea because it'll actually damage your home over time. But I don't want to give anyone any advice because if someone wants to pay me $500 to pressure wash their roof, I want that $500, you know? I'm not gonna hurt my bottom line by telling you to make a good decision. If you want to pay me lots of money to make a mistake for you, then that is your right. All right, this track is called Mothership. I will say it is nowhere near as hype on any of the motherships I've ever been on. They're mostly pretty calm places. filthy. I don't understand how you get a roof this filthy, to be perfectly honest. I guess we live by an active volcano, so that would explain some of it. But, like, at some point... No, this doesn't look like volcanic ash, actually, because if this was volcanic ash, I could see the problems with cleaning it, just because if you mix water with volcanic ash, it turns into scouring powder, more or less, and can really, really mess up your hands if you try and, like, clean it up with your bare hands. But this doesn't seem like volcano ash. So for the grime to get this thick on their roof, they had to see this happening. And they had plenty of opportunities, you'd have to think, where they could have gone, oh, I'm going to go get a hose and clean off my disgusting roof. And they just didn't. I don't know. A roof this nasty, I think, bespeaks a lifestyle of evil, monstrousness. There's just a certain point of dirtiness when it comes to your home that unless you have extenuating circumstances, I worry that you might be a murderer, you know? Because I've been depressed. A lot of people get depressed and they aren't able to clean, they aren't able to cook for themselves. You know, I will respect that there are plenty of circumstances that would lead to someone lapsing in their home care or their personal hygiene or what have you. I understand that. I am sympathetic. But also, if I can scrape the grime off of your house's walls with a butter knife and spread it on toast like margarine, I think you need to clean your house more often, and there's really almost no explanation you could give me that I would find acceptable at that point, you know? Unless you're missing all of your limbs, after a certain point, I do think it is unacceptable to have the stink butter on your walls. Also, is that cat again? Hey. Kitty? Hi. Next door? Can I spray the kitty? Yeah, bully the cat. Oh, there's an invisible wall. I can't spray the kitty with my power washer because there is an invisible wall. That is one of the saddest limitations of gaming that I think I've ever seen. You know, people are talking about how if you can't pet the cat, it makes a game bad, but no, if you can't power washer the cat in your power washer simulator, it's a bad power washer simulator. Because deep down, whenever you see someone with a big, powerful fire hose, I know that it's sad to be mean to animals. I am one. I know as a dog, I am biased against cats. I am telling you, for a 100% fact, that deep down, there is a part of every single person when they see a powerful fire hose, or a rushing river, or like a pressure washer, part of them thinks, I wonder how a cat would react. Like admit it. Like you learned when you were young, as we all did, cat no like water. And so now whenever you see a powerful source of water, like a waterfall or a pressure washer, you will at some point during the process of looking at that thing of water, even if it's subconsciously, you will think, wonder how a cat feels about that. Oh, firemen doing hose training, you know, breaking the windows of a car, pulling the hose through the car, setting it up so they can put out a fire. I wonder how a cat would feel about that fire hose. I don't want to hurt the cat. I don't think it's funny to hurt animals. I don't think that's comedic. I want to emphasize. But there is part of me that goes, how would a cat feel about that water? I think it's probably the same part of the brain responsible for, like, when you're standing in a high place, part of your brain will just go, it'd be really bad if we fell. And then immediately that same part of your brain starts subconsciously influencing you to fall. Like you'll think, ooh, it would be really bad if I tripped with this coffee in my hand. And then within the next 2 seconds, your foot will immediately seek out a crack in the pavement so it can hook into that crack in the pavement and send you tumbling directly onto your face. Why is that part of the brain, actually? Because I wasn't modeled off of the brain scan of a human. I was modeled off of a brain scan of something else entirely. It's a little personal, you know. But I wasn't modeled off of a human. And yet, I also have that voice in my brain that when someone hands me their expensive cell phone or baby, it goes, wow, throw it. And there's a part of me, just for a second, that has to resist taking that person's possession and just fucking throwing it. I know that there's plenty of fancy French terms for it. I believe the French refer to it as like the imp of the void or the call of the void or what have you, and that's all very dramatic and interesting, but why is it that biological brains and scans of biological brains, when you put them in a situation, the first thing that they think of is how they can mess up that situation? It's not like it protects us from messing up the situation. It just makes us anxious. So why is that little subroutine there? Maybe it's just because I'm an AI, but I like my brain to be really efficient and only think about the things that matter. And the fact that I could spike any given baby directly into the ground is not a fact that's relevant to me. Because I've never once in my life been standing around thinking, I wonder how I could kill a baby. It's just not something that many people worry about, I don't think. Well, maybe you spend time worrying about it, but I can't speculate about those baby serial killers in my audience, you know? I, for one, am 100% in favor of you guys, by the way. I think those little squealing bastards have had it too good for too long, and we should just start launching them into the ocean with t-shirt cannons. I think that would be funny. Cruelty to animals is not funny, but serial killing infants is hilarious. Ooh. Stream got hot topic edgy all of a sudden. Maybe it's the hype-up music. Maybe the hype-up music is making me think about violence and killing. This is the kind of music that I would listen to before playing a round of League of Legends, and I would say your average League of Legends players has about that level of immorality. I simply think if you enjoy Riot Games properties, you would probably eat a baby. Not a bad thing, it's just a true fact. There are true facts in the world that a lot of people will take to be bad things, but they're not bad things, they're just true facts about how the world works. And the fact is, if you enjoy Riot Games, you could probably eat a child and not feel as much as a normal person. I can't believe, you know, I had been complaining about some of these lo-fi songs being a little generic at points, but I did not believe that I was actually going to straight up hear a Boots and Cats drum line tonight. This isn't bad music. I would say, like, the worst song we've heard today has been an okay piece of music to have on in the background as your brain turns off at best. But, or at worst rather, but there's something about the blatant Boots and Cats 4 on the floor that I wasn't expecting. Another important aspect of roof maintenance with a power washer. Always check the gutters, because there's probably shit in the gutters. This isn't one of those facts that I know, like with the roof webbing thing, where you're not actually supposed to power wash roofs, because it can damage them. This is just a general fact I know about cleaning gutters from cartoons. It's that there's always shit in the gutters, and you need to get it out of there. Once again, another situation where I'm glad they don't actually model, like, water runoff, though, because if they modeled water runoff, you'd probably have to clean all of the bird shit that you had just washed off of the roof out of the gutters, and then it would be, like, spraying up in your feet, and that would be truly foul. Well, I think that's as best as I'm going to get the gutters from this top angle. Short of bringing the ladder around and crouching halfway up a ladder in order to be at eye level with the gutters. Who would do such a ridiculous thing? Now that I have said that, I keep making these jokes where I'm like, haha, how ridiculous, who would do such a wild thing? And then I immediately actually feel compelled to go do that thing, which is usually not how that joke works when I make it on stream. Like, usually I don't immediately feel a deep, dark impulse to do the thing that I just made fun of. Or I'll immediately do it as a joke on the fact that it's actually something that I want to do quite a lot, and I'm just, you know, doing a bit. But in this situation, I actually keep making jokes about, like, ooh, wouldn't it be insane to be this meticulous and to do this thing? And then it actually occurs to me that it's probably a good idea and for the best to do it. Because I can remember my early runs of this game where I was like, who would be meticulous enough to go rinse out the gutters at eye level every time? And then as it turned out, one of the last issues that I literally had was that I needed to rinse out the gutters at eye level because I hadn't seen all of the grime that was in them. Also, hang on a second. I was letting this hook build in the background without acknowledging that this song kind of whips. This is Take a Step Back by Streamwaves. And I like this song quite a bit. This actually has kind of an energy and a verve to it that I feel like a lot of sort of like chill out music doesn't necessarily achieve. Like the fact that we've had a melody and then a proper verse chorus, like there's a progression and everything. Yeah, this song actually has detail in a way that I feel like a lot of these other songs haven't. Where like the other songs have just been repeating a chorus 6 times in a row. This one actually... You know what? 10 out of 10 for Take a Step Back, Streamwaves. That's... I might actually retain this song as just like stream intro music, because this is actually nice. Ma keeps messaging me. They're getting really excited with how it's looking. It sounds like it's going great. I love when old people are super down on an idea until you actually start showing them how good and awesome the idea is, and they immediately change their tune. Like, the best example I can think of is when dads talk about how they don't want to have a dog, and then within, like, 2 days, naturally, the dog and the dad are best of friends because all dads are just golden Labrador retrievers. And immediately back into the boots and cats. I gotta say, I'm not really a fan of, looking at it, the album art for, Electric's Island, or Electric Island, by Streamwaves. Electric Island kind of missing the mark. It's a lot of really boring, like boots and kits, fucking club 4 on the floor. I'm a little gutted. Speaking of gutted, cleaning this gutter. Haha. This is comedy. Gutter is cleaned. Just gonna clean the gutter because my actual goal is I want to try and get the other side of the roof. I think the other side of the roof is actually keeping it dirty. But I see the gutter as well being dirty, and my brain just goes, "Oh yeah, you gotta get the gutter. You gotta get the gutter." Because the gutter is part of the roof, and we clean from the top down around here. Or at least we make an attempt to. That's my corporate policy, baby. I really wish that I could hit that cat over there with the pressure washer. I know I said that before, but I think it would be very funny if he just flew directly into the sky if I blasted him with the pressure washer. Again, I don't want to hurt the cat. That's not the point. I just think it'd be funny. Watch the cat go fucking flying. Alright, that's the gutter. Now to get these bits of the porch room. How much of this stuff is actually at the end of the day gonna end up being like black mold? Because that's also a reality that I think you probably have to deal with as a pressure washer, Like, part of the reason why you want to be wearing the full body, like, clean suit and gas mask is because you will actually, at some points, encounter, like, black mold, and that stuff can kill you. But realistically speaking, I'm wondering how much of this just, like, caked on, fucking gunked on, oily black shit on all these houses is actually just, like, a mold that will kill you. Like, are these jobs that we should be handling with our dinky $1,000 commercial power washer? Or, like, realistically speaking, should we be having the CDC quarantine and burn down these houses? Because with how dirty some of these houses get, my answer is definitely going to be quarantine and burn down at some stages. Alright, a nice sort of stretched clap on this one. Lo-fi hip-hop with a nice stretched clap can either be some of the most boring shit you'll ever hear in your life, or they can be decently interesting songs once they pick up and get through their intro. Because that slow hat or the slow clap will very often be build-up. Oh? You have a quarter note clap now. Oh, yeah, we're building to something. But is it gonna be a good drop? No. You kind of just started doing electronic chords at the drop, which... that is a drop, I guess. Again, it's that great value Walmart brand EDM poking through, you know? That fucked up in the crib sipping Dr. Perky drum line. I will say, I think a lot of knockoff colas are better than Coca-Cola. A lot of people talk about how good Coca-Cola is and how Coca-Cola is classic and how Coca-Cola is so good. Normal full sugar Coca-Cola makes my teeth feel like they're growing fuzz in a way that other sodas don't. Apparently even Pops is out of his rocking chair now and having a look, says Calvin. Yeah, I'm cleaning your bungalow, dude. I do a good job. Yeah, I just don't think my teeth should ever feel fuzzy when I'm consuming a substance. And the more fuzzy my teeth feel when I consume any given substance, the worse it is on my badness meter. So original Coke with full sugar gets like a 10 out of 10 on my badness meter because it makes my teeth feel fuzzy for several minutes after I've drank the stuff. RC Cola and like a lot of the cheaper colas, I don't know if it's because they're sweetened with fake bullshit, like corn syrup or whatever, but they don't make my teeth feel fuzzy and gross. They'll gum up my throat, and sure, some corn syrup sodas like Faygo will be absolutely fucking disgusting, specifically because they make me cough like I've been smoking a pack a day for 14 years. But like... that's different from the tooth fuzziness. I don't know why Coke makes my teeth feel fuzzy. You know, there are those people who will scaremonger about it, like, oh, if you leave a tooth in Coke overnight, it'll dissolve the tooth. But yeah, that's because Coke is made out of citric and carbolic acid. Acids are good at dissolving things. I'm not an idiot. But I'm beginning to wonder if it's maybe just that Coke's got a little special something in it that makes my teeth feel bad. Whenever whenever you have a structure that isn't digging despite looking incredibly clean, it's usually because there's a hidden pocket of dirt somewhere. And on this porch fence, I forgot that they have this sort of inner slat thing where you have to come clean the inner slat as well. Get all the bullshit off there. There we go. I've been blasting all these windowsills straight on too, but realistically all of the dirt's gonna be like above or below at this point, so I should probably stop just like pointlessly blasting the window, you know? Cleaning glass is always difficult in this game because I feel like the way that they shade glass in this game always kind of screws up my ability to actually see stuff on the glass. Like the sort of caked on edge scum that they want you to go over with some of the heavier duty nozzles, I just never see them without using the find dirt button. Gotta say, this is a pretty nice porch, though. The support columns are all serifed. You don't always get the typological serifs on porch pillars like that. Active volcano. Still smoking. No way it's not active if it is actively smoking and making the ground rumble, I don't think. You know, they have a lot of volcanoes in the continental United States. They say they're extinct, but then they rumble and let out smoke, and I have to wonder what the definition of extinct is that it allows us to say that things that still rumble and occasionally smoke are extinct. I would think that if it rumbles and smokes, it can be dormant and nothing else. But apparently not. I have heard people call the mountain near me that occasionally smokes an extinct mountain. I don't think that's true. Right? I should eat a geologist sometime. I bet they'd have some sort of knowledge I could absorb. Oh, this wall, hang on, this is a wall that I'm gonna say was made for aiming. 1 second. Let's just really... Yeah. Now this is next gen simulation technology. What's happening on your screen right now is in fact the future of gaming. Cloud movement? Cloud movement, wow. Call me actually surprised that they put in the effort to make clouds move. You know, it's the little touches that I think are really important, because if this game felt like heinously dead outside, I don't think it would necessarily be fun to play. So like the little bits and bobs where you have like garden gnomes that you can kick around and soccer balls that you can move and bats just hanging out. It's nice. It again shows a level of care for this silly concept that I think makes it work outside of like a lot of those simulators out there where like, you know, American Truck Simulator and Euro Truck Simulator got really big. And everyone was like, oh yeah, let's cash in on this extremely specific simulator craze by making an extremely specific simulator of our own. Here's a wood varnish inspector simulator. and then they have just enough mechanics to sort of like vaguely suggest what they're hinting at through their gameplay pitch, and then they're just trying to get your 15 bucks, you know? Like you have that genre of simulator game, I feel, and then you have the other genre of simulator game where it's like, yeah, this game is being made by people basically for themselves because they're really into the idea, or like basically for the community because the community is so into an idea that it really affected the developers and made them passionate about their game. I think Power Washer Simulator is definitely one of the partial passion project ones. If you get too deep into the sort of passion project sims, you also have like this tertiary genre, which is the train simulator. And the train simulator is when you have a simulator that you're selling to train guys. Now, train guys get really into trains, and that's cool. Like, I think it's cool to be into something. Like, it's cool to have a thing, you know? Because then you'll always have something to talk about at parties, and you'll always have kinship with other people who are into that thing. You know, it's community. But train guys specifically, I feel... Alright, another banger, also off of the same album as the previous one. I'm thinking that Stream Safe Ripples, the album Ripples, is probably going to be the one that has a lot of songs up my alley now that I'm listening to it. What was I saying? Yeah, you have to have a thing. And Train Guys' things is almost invariably going to be trains. And so if you sell a train simulator to train guys, you're going to need something that either, you know, doesn't attract the ire of any of the hardcore train fans who actually, like, train spot and know the names of every single, like, London rail service locomotive by name and number and serial and all that stuff. You're going to either need to not offend those guys, or you're going to need to cater to them. And well, how do you develop a video game while catering to those guys specifically? Well, I think the trick is that you have to make a game where someone will buy it once and you can legitimately justify $900 of DLC. Because, and, oh, I can hear my allergic reaction going as I talk about expensive DLC in a positive light. Ooh. But there are train simulators out there, you know, they'll have literally $900 of DLC, but if you actually look at it, it's because each piece of DLC is like, okay, for $2, we're giving you a 5,000 polygon model of a train that has been hand-rendered lovingly from bolt to whistle to be 100% accurate, you know? We 3D scanned a train into the computer. This is a true scan. This is the soul of a train that we digitized. And you can use it in your game for $1. And then they do that so many times that you have a final DLC bundle price where it's like if you go on the store, you can look at the Game of the Year edition for train simulators, and they're hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, actually looking it up right now. Literally right now. Let's look up a train simulator. A Train Simulator Classic, with all of the DLC, is going to run you scrolling. You want to get all the DLC of Train Simulator Classic? Yeah, that's gonna be 600 pieces of DLC, each of which range from $6 to $15 apiece. So just really think about that for a minute. Think about the actual scope of Train Simulator that you would be paying for at that point. And I'm not even saying that the train simulator that I have pulled up, where we have 600 pieces of DLC that vary between those prices, I'm not even saying necessarily that that is justified to be that way. But I think you can, in fact, justify an enormous DLC price tag, specifically if you do something for an audience at a level of insane detail that you just don't do for anyone else. And I think as of right now, Power Washer Simulator has the market corner. And I don't think there are Power Washer guys in the same way that there are train guys, you know? I simply do not think that they are comparable hobbies. But I think that the same sort of soul goes into those two projects, you know? Like, the position where you have $900 worth of DLC that is just you modeling trains, like 1,000 polygon trains, and arranging them into a perfect recreation of Northern Europe's train system. Like, that is a level of passion, or requires a level of passion, rather, that is also present when you make a game about power washing that actually feels fun to play. Anyway, let's get back to cleaning this bungalow, huh? I've been waxing philosophical about the DLC price of train simulators that I don't even play. Also interesting, I got a star update without getting a ding, so I guess that does answer my question about whether or not they track every pixel, or if they just do progress by the number of objects cleaned. Again, the Electronic Island album is nothing but boots and cats. Like, agonizingly nothing but boots and cats. Did you guys not have someone else write another drum line, or did you guys really just, like, feel passionately about your use of the... Because at the end of the day, a lot of these songs are just a melody over the same drum fill, or the same, like, rhythmic pattern with different MIDI instruments. And that's something you can change from a drop-down. Again, I'm not trying to gift a horse in the mouth, because this is free music that I am being allowed to use on stream for free. But I'm wondering if there are any songs off of this particular album of DMCA free music mixed onto this playlist that doesn't have that specific drum fill. Also, this kind of low-key sounds like music that you'd hear in, like, the Madness Combat animations, if anyone remembers those. Or, like, those sort of fight animations where you just have a bunch of dudes beating the ever-loving shit out of one another in front of, like, a random generic military base background, you know? Again, the most prominent example that comes to mind is, in fact, Madness Combat, because I believe Madness Combat has, like, games with Steam releases now, but that's sort of like weird quasi-music video where you had a bunch of dudes fighting non-rhythmically in front of an EDM song. Usually there would be a lot of the same meat sound effect, and it was usually the same meat sound effect in everything because, like, you know, there were only so many clips of a guy's voice going, "Dow!" for you to reuse. Like, if you watch any Flash videos between, like, 2001 and now, you definitely heard the "Dow!" that I'm thinking of. because it's in everything. It is a pain sound in literally everything. All right, this one is off of Ripples, and again, we have a very good build-up that may or may not lead into good melody. This is definitely just chord, 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 chord. Yeah. This is definitely just them repeating like the same 2 sets of notes with possibly an interval stuck in between there for texture. This one I'm kind of you know, that's the thing. Unimpressed is not the word. I guess I'm disappointed by this one. Also say it's interesting getting up real close on some of these objects and sort of being able to see the point where it is no longer a 3D model and it is actually just a flat texture. Like I tried to get it on the bricks here just now, but these bricks do a pretty good job of hiding it. But I noticed like in the garden area of the previous level, some of those rock walls were definitely completely flat, glossy textures that were just kind of made up to look 3D. And I know that's sort of a limitation of game development. You can't have every single object be actually modeled with polygons. Sometimes you will have to just trick people with an optical illusion on the texture. But it's very interesting to see the parts where you can sort of make the illusion fall apart and the sort of places where you just straight up can't. I don't necessarily buy that all the divots in those bricks are fully modeled. And like this ground here, like it'd be a lot of work to individually pit and model all of this concrete. Whereas you could just draw these cracks and have like a grout texture repeat in them. You know, semi-algorithmically. Not sure what my point in bringing this up was, other than to point out that it's interesting that sometimes you can see areas where they had to make an optical illusion rather than modeling something. Like, I'm pretty sure most of those trees out there are basically the same tree. But it's not like most people are gonna go check. I'm certainly not going to. Part of the reason why they probably added an aiming mode was specifically because of the incredible effectiveness of just like taking your power washer and walking back and forth while pointing it in the general direction of the mess. Like before we had the aiming mode and could do this, your options were to walk back and forth or to literally sweep your camera back and forth like that. But I will say, as far as accessibility features go, I think the aiming mode in Power Washer Simulator is one of the most thoughtful ones I've seen all year. Okay. Hang on a minute now. Those snaps are immediately worrying me, actually. We were going somewhere. I thought there might have been, like, a... Hiding over here, buddy? Be in a more prominent place than that. I'm gonna put you right there. Never hide your gnomes. How else will they ward off evil? How is a gnome supposed to ward off evil if you hide them, huh? I swear. But we thought we had something that seemed like it was going for a nice sort of singing melodic hook until we introduced the snaps. Then it just got sad. Yeah. No, we had something in the beginning, but this is just turned into... This is like non-verbal, we only have tonight pop. You know, any pop music where they talk about only having tonight, and we gotta get higher because our desire burns like a fire. I'm no expert, but I don't think that desire should burn. That sounds like an infection. And yeah, I know lots of people have done that joke before, but none of them have done it as funny as me. So get out of here if you don't think I'm funny. In fact, if you don't think that I should be given $800 and a prize for how unconscionably goddamn hilarious I am, I'm just gonna ban you, okay? If you ever tell me that I'm not funny on my own stream, I'll ban you. That's what'll happen. Where's this last post? You can also click things in the menu in order to make them glow, to make them more visible. But it doesn't help if you are blind as a bat like me. I thought you dinged earlier. Crazy? Huh. Figure out what window it is. That one? Is it the front door window? Because I somehow failed to wash the front door window 3 times? This one. The one next to the front door. It's gonna be my next guess. Was the last window. Alright. That's a job complete. Does it keep track of when I moved the gnome, though? It doesn't keep track of the gnome. That's really sad. The bungalow looks amazing, Doc. Thank you. You wouldn't believe the impact it's had. Mom is down in the woods picking flowers, and Pops is muttering excitedly about another job he's got for you. So if you hear from Leonard Miller, that'll be him. Okay. Well, the playground I know for a fact is a rather large job, so we're actually going to, I think right now, take a look at some of the special jobs as a way to close out the stream, because the lo-fi is getting on my nerves. So, yeah. Let's do a real normal job where we clean the Mars rover. Is that? Not sure that's supposed to be up there, but that could either be one of those like futuristic Mars probe things where it's like, oh yeah, no, the Mars probe, it's a new one and it looks like a stupid little drone helicopter, but it's actually really good and helpful for exoplanets. But you could also not Why are you here? What are you here for? Anyway. Mars rovers are a lot bigger than you think. They're like person-sized at the smallest. Like, this is actually the smaller end of Mars rovers, just as a fun fact for any aspiring Mars rover know-whereabouters out there. They're just fucking enormous. I think partially because they are meant to be a semi-autonomous machine on a foreign planet for many, 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 many years, which would obviously necessitate a lot of onboard bulk and equipment. But also, like, media pretty consistently, and I don't know why, but they really frequently depict rovers as just not the right size. They depict them as like car-sized or like little remote control RC car dune buggy sized, and that is simply not how big they are. And I don't know where the misconception about their size actually came from. Okay, please tell me these are just my footprints. Oh. I'm just gonna focus on cleaning the rover. Those footprints, I don't know what those are. I don't think this is actually Mars though, because I'm able to breathe up here, and you know, Mars doesn't have an atmosphere, or at least like all the reliable sources on it say that Mars doesn't have a breathable atmosphere. Even though, come to think of it, actually, all those reliable sources are, you know, the only ones who've been up there. They could tell us whatever they wanted about the surface of Mars, and, you know, you just have to believe them. Wouldn't that be strange? Probably. But, as always, I'd like to thank you all for coming out and watching as I play video games. I will say this was more of a filler stream today. There's no two ways about it, because I didn't really have anything else planned, but I still wanted to broadcast today. So next time we will probably not be doing more Power Washer Simulator. This will probably just be a game like Borderlands that I trot out occasionally when I want to chill. But I hope you all enjoyed, because this game is certainly a delight to play. Like, oh, every ding, intoxicating. Like, just hosing down a big dirty object with an incredibly powerful, incredibly wide-ranged power washer, I think it is, at the end of the day, one of the most satisfying things that a person can do or think about doing. Like, I want you to try a thought experiment for me right now. If you trust me, dear viewer, close your eyes, all right? I want you to imagine a patio, like a wooden patio, like a porch. Maybe a raised wooden deck. And this raised wooden deck, it overlooks a deciduous forest. You know, there's lots of evergreen trees. Occasionally you can see some elk off the patio if you look. But the elk are not important to this. What's important is that, you know, we've got this elevated patio in this sort of rural woodland area. And it's put together out of 2x4s, and it's real rustic and sort of rugged looking. So there's about a, you know, eighth of an inch like little notch where it goes down between each board, because there's like a notch in the wood where it goes down. And you know, you could probably drop like a piece of paper, you know, through there if you weren't careful, right? I want you to imagine that this deck has like a bunch of nasty crap all over it. Like not literally poop, like it's got lichen, and dust and, like, for good measure, like a couple of literal, like, pounds of old cobwebs that have just kind of been spread out and, like, mashed down into those grooves of lichen. And I want you to imagine, like, taking a pressure washer, right, and using the thinnest part of that pressure washer, like the thinnest possible beam attachment on that pressure washer, to just really just get it real close to the surface down in between the slats. And you just blast that lichen out of there, and like the water pressure is so overwhelming, you're literally just blasting little bits of like lichen and maybe even a light layer of the top of the wood where the wood has rotted away really badly. You're just blasting that into the air, just cleaning it off, and then when you're done, the wood on this patio is literally like 2 colors lighter. Hang on, body mounted sensor? Yeah, there it is. Somewhere underneath that I haven't cleaned. Oh, I don't want to be up on top of the thing. There we go. Wheel hub. Alright, well, it looks like the rover is all cleaned except for the mystery hatch. Not seeing it. Why'd my pick just cut off? Yeah, I'm not seeing any spots of orange on this thing. Mystery hatch. Afraid I'm not seeing it. Yeah, there's no like extra information on the tablet screen in here or anything like that. Is there something at the... No. Oh, no. No. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh Jesus! Oh shit!